10K threads and 1K months blueprint. It's extremely relevant to many of you who are wanting to reach 1K very soon and then starting to think about what comes next. We're going to look at the new Proof Promise Plan framework, and we'll tie the blueprint for 10K threads and 1K months to this new framework and show you how I've actually used this as an example of the new framework. Sad reality is most people suck at threads. They feel salesy for promoting their offers. They have no idea how to actually monetize. They spend 3 hours writing long form posts that flop. There are 5 steps here. And the first one is sweep me off my feet. Really, this comes down to optimizing your bio. Either way, however many people see your profile in a given month, it could be in the hundreds, it could be in the thousands, could be in the millions. The point is, it's a lot of views. You want to get the most bang for your buck out of your profile. Think of it as a landing page. If you can optimize it, then you're going to get better outcomes in terms of conversions for people who see it and then follow you, and from people who see something in your bio, maybe they see the link and then they go and join, in my case, our community, Saints College. It's very important to optimize this, and it's these 1%ers that really add up. And that's really the point of like, swoop me off my feet, impress me, wow me, like you're taking me out on a date. That's the effect we want with your profile. These are the 4 things you can optimize to swoop me off my feet. If I see your profile on Threads, do I want to follow this person? And do I want to see what they've got in their link in bio and see what they're offering? These are the 4 things: your name. And bear in mind, everything that we're going through here, it's what you can start thinking about once you are approaching the 1K mark on Threads and beyond. We have a different bio formula for what you should do from 0 to 1K. This is what you can do once you start thinking about 1K and beyond. Your name should say, basically, you're a category of 1. I took that to the extreme and put King of Threads Growth. I've not seen that anywhere else, right? No one else has put that there. I'd like to say I've earned it. And that's something that you want to work towards, your own earned category of 1. Your profile picture, you want to make this give off the impression that like you will never forget me once you see my picture. And once you see it everywhere, you associate that picture with me. And that becomes a powerful reinforcement over days, weeks, and months. Your bio. This is why you'll never forget me. This is why I'm a category of 1. For me, I started at 17 followers in July 23. I was named top 7 creator by Buffer, and then built #1 Threads group, 1,600 friends to help you grow for free. This is really just saying you should take what I write about seriously. This sentence here, some of you have probably heard me say a few times, whether it be in a class like this or in a post. I know that this is a sentence that just works for me. It's the first line of a hook that, without fail, helps me get a lot of reach on a post. And because I know that, given everything I've just spoken about with how important it is to try and swoop me off my feet and optimize your profile, I may as well use that sentence in my bio if hundreds of thousands of people are going to see it. Does that make sense? Reactions, love hearts, Leisha, the trademark down if you're feeling it. Thank you. Hopefully we can all understand the importance of those 3 things. And then the 4th one is just like your link in bio. This is a bit of a hot take, but I think make it go to one thing. Link trees are overrated. If you put a link tree here, it adds an unnecessary step. The more friction you add for someone, the harder it is for them to do something you want them to do. There's a reason why I've just got Saints College in my bio. There's nothing else you can go to. It takes you straight to the page to sign up for free. It's worked out pretty well so far. That is the first step to like 10K threads and 1K months. It's a high leverage thing to do in light of how many people can see this. We're all good so far, following? Next one is a biggie. Post 3 long forms per week. In the kind of 0 to 1K phase, the equivalent step is post 3 times per day. 1K and beyond, continue doing that, but you also want to post 3 long forms per week. Now, what does this look like? Essentially, continue posting 3 times per day, but on a Tuesday, post a long form, post on a Thursday, post a long form, and on a Saturday, post a long form. Pretty simple. In Saints College, 0 to 1K, we probably talk about having a thread Thursday. It's a bit of a thing in one of the pods. Here, we're adding on 2 extra long forms. By around the 1K mark, you're getting pretty good at writing. Now you really want to double down on what works. My experience has been that this is a sustainable cadence to maintain indefinitely. If you do these well, it is insanely effective. I have to put here, like, you can master the art of writing these and you won't have to worry about paying for gas and groceries again. It's pretty amazing what 1 year of writing 3 long forms per week can do. And I've got an example of this as well. By the way, I'm actually going to be trying something a little bit cheeky, so don't tell anyone else in Full Circle, please. But this is Full Circle. And I am going to lower the price of the monthly membership until the end of this college class. And if anyone wants to get it at the lowest price while we are in this college class, it's there. And then I'll be putting it back up to $69 per month at the end. This is how powerful the long forms can be. And I was saying that there are 3 of them in a week. So how I'd recommend going about this, and this is what we do in Full Circle, is on a Tuesday, post a teacher post. And let me actually make sure realize I wasn't sharing my screen there. So that helps because I'm just sharing my Notion screen. There we go. Yes. So what I was trying to show before, this is a normal price. I just put it down to 59. If this is something that you would like to learn more about, you can sign up at the lowest price by the end of this call, and then you've got it locked in, and then we can do like an onboarding call, talk about how you can make this happen for you. What I was trying to show is this. On a Tuesday, post a teacher post. This is just a type of long form, teaching a clear outcome in steps, like 5 steps. It's pretty much what we're going through now. We're on step 2. On a Thursday, post a storyteller, pretty self-explanatory. Tell a story on something that is related to what you like to talk about. So for me, I might talk about how I didn't really have any sort of end goal with threads. I just started posting. I felt pretty lost with what to do here. And there were multiple times where I just had no clue whether this thing was ever going to like work and whether this was just a lot of time going into nothing. You know, I'm talking about like a conflict that I had and how I was maybe thinking about quitting. And then I eventually, like, something happened and it was this defining, game-changing moment. And then I started to see some results, and now I'm here. Using a proven framework, think about the experience you might have had in a job, whether it be the job you've got now, a job you've had in the past. Speak about the years you've spent in that job, the amount of money you've spent to learn something, maybe the accomplishments you've received, to basically say, like, I know my shit. And then because I know my shit, here's 5 really important things you should know about topic X. That's what a synthesizer is. Personally, it's my favorite. And the point of all of this is to say, on Tuesday, try and post one of these. On a Thursday, try and post a story. And on a Saturday, try and post a synthesizer. Now, let me know, would it be helpful to have a look at examples of either of those, or are you happy to just leave it at that before we move into the next step? Give me a thumbs up if you would like to look at examples, or no reactions if you're happy to move on to step 3. Cool. Alrighty, Becca. Yep. Alrighty. Let's have a look. So this is I remember you mentioning in one of my posts a while ago, Becca, you were saying these examples are really helpful. I remember thinking, take note of that, include more examples. Anyway, this is the content calendar. This is what a teacher post is like. This is a template for a teacher post that we post on a Tuesday. Here are some examples of what a teacher post could look like. So here's one from 5 weeks ago. And like, you're kind of fitting that formula of 3 steps so you can forget the fluff and hit 1,000 followers by Christmas, which was 3 weeks away at the time I wrote this. And then you can get that outcome in this 3-step process. I go over what those are and how to go through them based on which phase you're at in that journey from 0 to 1K. So that's one example. And where was the other one? Where did that? Oh, here we go. Then we have, here's one from Angela, who is killing it on Threads at the moment. She has a very great strike rate. But I'll skip to the last sentence because it's really the decisive thing to tell us. Here are 5 steps to navigating this decision with clarity, love, and the peace of knowing you've honored your dog's life to the very end. This is about losing a dog. Dog is on their way out. And Angela is promising this outcome of here's how you can do that as well as you can, given the very sad circumstances. And these are the 5 steps that I would recommend you do that because, this is her thing. She's a veterinarian. So that's one example. I'll probably just stick to the 2 for read 3. So then coming back to our other type of post, which is a storyteller. Those were the teachers. Remember, steps, outcome. That's the main thing to bear in mind for the teacher post. Then for a storyteller post, I have dropped this storyteller template in a previous college class. So everything in this template you can just go and find in the college class area of Saints College. But the point being, some examples of what these look like. Angela again. Well, let's have a look at flow. I return to France from Canada every year, yet as a born and raised French, these 7 things still catch me off guard. This is a bit of a blend of maybe a synthesizer, but it's starting with a bit of a story loop. It's like, okay, what happens when you return from France? I return to France from Canada every year. It's creating a story in our mind. I think this is the perfect post that I've looked at in the past that got Angela 1,300 newsletter subscribers overnight. It speaks for itself. They told me it was just old age. There's nothing you can do, they said. Just keep him comfortable. I believe them. Even after I became a veterinarian, I still believe them. Until one conversation with a client flipped my entire perspective and changed the way I practice medicine. Notice how this hook just sets up this story with huge stakes. It flipped my entire perspective, changed the way I practice medicine. It also establishes Angela's credibility. Practice medicine implies that she's some sort of doctor in the medical field. You can't help but want to continue reading this. And as I said, it was 1,300 newsletter subscribers overnight. That is how powerful new storytellers can be. So that is the storyteller. And then finally, my favorite, the synthesizer. Again, this is something I'd recommend doing on a Saturday, just Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, nicely spread out. In my opinion, it's one of the best cadences to follow. The Saturday synthesizer is 2 types here. And this is what I would recommend you do. This first type is what you should do if you feel like you're just starting from scratch in what you're talking about online on Threads, and you feel like you don't have the authority or the proof, the credibility to discuss something because you don't have the results yet. If you feel like that, you just go and borrow the credibility by basically writing about someone who has the credibility in your niche. For instance, I've done this one, me and Dan Coe. Tailoring has written about the 22 rules for storytelling that Pixar uses. Obviously, Pixar, it's one of the best companies in the world at storytelling, if not the best. So he can piggyback off of Pixar's authority. Then the other strand of the synthesizer is just earned proof. This is when you actually go and do the work yourself and then actually state that very clearly. It can feel uncomfortable to begin with because, again, you might feel like it's arrogance, but trust me when I say that it does make a huge difference when you can find even that one sentence that just consistently performs well for you. And for me, as I've already mentioned, I started on Threads with 17 followers. I've started many long form posts with that one sentence. Honestly, every single one does really well. So that's the synthesizer. In summary, step number 2 is really just the high leverage habit that you should be building in 2025, because these are the things that if you can master, you will get very high conversions from random people on threads to followers. And if you do the CTA well, very high conversions from followers to, say, email subscribers or community members. How is that sounding so far to everyone? Anyone have any clarifying questions regarding those 3 types of long forms or just how to go about those? Moving on now to step number 3. So here is the next thing that is, honestly, it's a great thing to do as you move past 1,000 followers and look towards 10K. And this is just replay your greatest hits. And just a fancy way of saying, you can and should repost your best posts. You probably want about 3 months worth of posting 3 times a day, or map that out to however many months if you're posting once a day or twice. It just gives you enough data to then go and look back every 3 months and start reposting some of the best stuff. Because if you're growing on threads, you posted a really good post at 200 followers, then you reach at 1,100 now, 900 people haven't seen that great post. You got to show those 900 people your best stuff. Sounds kind of obvious, but I don't think many people do. Then second reason why is because, honestly, people who have seen that post before, even if they do remember it, which is quite unlikely, people appreciate the reminder. I can't tell you how many times I've watched the same unboxing video or the same movie review just because it's comfortable, it's familiar. It's like when you go and rewatch your favorite movie. People like to watch the stuff and look at the stuff that they love again and again. Examples here. This is how I would tactically recommend you replay your greatest hits. Use a third-party software such as Blacktwist to basically show you your top 24 most liked posts over the past 3 months. There's a reason for this, because what you can then do is schedule 4 of those per week over the next 6 weeks. Hopefully you can see that over time, the more you do this, the more you accumulate your huge album of greatest hits. And this just compounds into a system that can actually just work for you in your sleep as you accumulate more and more of these posts. Like, this is what we're doing in Full Circle, building out a full year of content calendar where you can just do this systematically. In all honesty, it's been about 18 months now of posting 3 times per day. If there's a way to systemize that to make it just less intense on a daily basis, it's time for me to start doing that because I want to put more of my attention in Saints College and Full Circle than on threads. That's where I'm coming from. If you can find a way to do this, I promise you, it takes a little bit of effort on the side and not much at all. It's like, could be a 15, 30 minute, maybe an hour job. But if you do it, it starts to really pay off in the long term. Highly recommend it. This one, number 4, nail your hooks. By the way, someone please remind me at the end to put the link to this in the, hopefully we all know that hooks are important. We get some sort of reaction if we're all on the same page there. Cool. All right. So we're on the same page. To be clear, your hook is the first post in a long form, and then it's the first sentence in a short form. So for example, let's say, like, as you can see, it's color coded. This is a post template in this content calendar in Full Circle. And the hook is in a listicle, which is a short form post, what no one else tells you about topic. So for me, I could put in there what no one else tells you about threads growth. Short form, the hook is generally speaking 1 sentence. In the long form, the hook is the top post in the whole thing. So this is the top post. Then everything beneath that, that's a separate mini post. The hook is everything that's yellow here. And important to be on the same page with what the hook actually is before we start talking about how important it is and how you can improve it. This is the thing I really want you to sit on. It can be quite demoralizing, in all honesty, but it really does force you to put things into perspective with how important your hooks are. I like to say that take how important you think they are, times that by 1,000, and you still don't understand how important they are. And that applies to me just as much as it applies to you and anyone listening to this recording. If no one reads past your hook, right? just logically speaking, everything else, the remaining 90% of your post is a waste. Sit on that for a second. It's not nice. It's a reality. It's why you need to really practice doing them. But I have a very easy way for you to do it instantly. I'll give you the link to this page. Here are 5 screenshots that I discussed in a previous college class. And these 5 screenshots represent the 5 tactics that I always think about whenever I write a hook. What I suggest you do is literally just put these screenshots into ChatGPT with this prompt. Use the tactics in the attached screenshots to write 5 different hooks for this long form post. Put the draft of your long form post in that prompt, obviously. Make sure you include the hook. And then what these will do is ChatGPT will just obviously look at the content in these screenshots and apply, or rather remodel the hook you've currently got to give you 5 different versions that apply all of these 5 tactics. I do this and it's very effective. You can instantly 69x your content. It might not even be an exaggeration. This is very effective. Honestly, I can't think of an easier way to level up your content straight away. It's really simple as that. This is the result of my 2,500 hours studying threads. Just try it. Any questions about the hook part, step number 4 of the journey to 10K and 1K months? If there is any uncertainty here, let me know, because it's probably just that one thing you want to be pretty clear on, at least these steps that I've outlined. Okay, moving on. Cool, Becca's all good. All right, sweet. Now, the 5th and final step of this journey to 10K threads and 1K months here is, and by the way, I'll explain what the strategy is, because this was posted on Threads. In terms of maximizing conversions, this tactic will be very helpful for you. I'll go through the example and then I'll explain how you can remodel this in your own long forms to get more newsletter subscribers, depending on how expensive or like any products you sell are. If it's low ticket, get sales. This is also what we've been learning in terms of maximizing conversions on Threads directly. So step 5 here is to join a friend group. Do the first 4 steps to grow, and then do this 5th step to monetize. It'll teach you 18 months of experience in 18 minutes. You don't have to figure all this out for yourself. If you can just learn from someone who's already figured it out and save yourself all that time and effort. And notice how it's kind of a slippery slope down into my plug to Full Circle. Full Circle is the right friend group. We hit 6K since launching 7 days ago. So there's proof that we're practicing what we're preaching, and show serious friends how to do the same. You're selling $23 affiliate products. And then a CTA to directly join Full Circle. And then in the actual post, I put the link here. Then I put this screenshot from Marcus, who is in Full Circle, about just his experience with it so far. Look, I'd actually love to ask all of you, what is the strategy here with having a CTA to do something, join your newsletter, your community, whatever? How have I done that in the context of this post? Feel free to just speak up, unmute yourself, or put it in the chat. It's really important, and this has worked for me multiple times. So I'd love for you to try this for yourself.
I think it's that you tied it into the steps.
And then Becca, apply to join if you're serious. Becca, so that was coming from like, it's not coming from a place of neediness. It's more like exclusivity. Is that what you were getting at, Becca, with this last line in the plug? I'm with you. Spot on there. And Leisha, that was really the crux of what I was getting at as well. Here, remember what I said in the hook. If you are serious, pre-qualifies. Exactly. And because it's a paid thing, you want people to be serious to actually get the benefit from it. And that's just like a lose-lose situation. But coming back to the hook, remember, I've said 5 steps I use to hit 10K threads and 1K months. And then I actually, I don't just put this random CTA that has nothing to do with my post all the way at the bottom. Instead, I integrate the CTA into the body of the post itself. It's seamless so that by the time you get to it, you're not really like, people have this knee-jerk reaction to when they're seeing some sort of promotion or offer anywhere online, because that's just the way online stuff is. So it's not like you're just sliding straight through, but there's a little bit of a difference there. Yaz and I have been testing this in a bunch of listicles. I've done this in a bunch of long forms to promote Saints College, and every time it just works really well. Now, this was the first time I tried it with Full Circle, a paid offer, and honestly, that was just a test. We'll see what happens. But the strategy of integrating what your offer is into the actual body of the post, it's key. So just remember, integrate. Don't just add it on to the end as an afterthought. Super important. Then I had a little, yep, cool, Becca's liking that. Had a little separate post that just had this screenshot of Marcus and social proof. And then I go into a summary of what the key steps are to hit your 10K friends and 1K months. And in summary, it is to sweep me off my feet. So remember, this is just really optimizing your bio. Then you want to replay your greatest hits by looking at what you've posted over the last 3 months, getting the top around about 20 to 30, and then actually scheduling those, maybe 4 of them every week for 6 weeks. As you do that over time, you build up, in theory, like what we're working towards is literally an entire year of greatest hits. After 1 year of doing a content calendar, in the second year, you can put this system on steroids and then really focus on the stuff that is more business oriented. Like, I want to personally be putting more time into Saints College and Full Circle than Threads as I continue doing this, because that's where you guys are. That's where my people are. And if you want to actually have the like make money part off of Threads, you will need to have some sort of system like that, because as you've probably all figured, it can, like, Threads can be very time consuming. That's okay at the start, but eventually you got to start reallocating your time. That's why the replay your greatest hits is super important. Then I spoke about the posting 3 long forms per week, in addition to the 3 posts per day. Post 1 long form on a Tuesday. That's a teacher post. It goes through a step-by-step process to get a clear outcome. Then on a Thursday, post a storyteller using some sort of framework that enhances emotions, raises the stakes, shares some sort of epiphany that was profound. And then on a Saturday, write a synthesizer. This is where you read a book, spend 20 hours reading it, distill the key 3, 5, 7 insights into a concise post. In that instance, you're giving the reader the gift of time. I read this book, so you don't have to. Here's the 5 things that you need to know about it. Then we had nail your hooks. It cannot get any easier than this. Just put these 5 screenshots into ChatGPT with the prompt, use the tactics in the attached screenshots to write 5 different hooks for this long form post, insert the draft post. I promise you, it works very well. It's very good, and it's so easy. And then finally, there's that integration of join friend group. It's integrated into the outcome that I have promised in the hook. This is what I was putting on Threads. Like, I literally wrote the book on this, ignore everyone else, do this stuff, and you'll grow. Then after this, I include a CTA to follow me. That is the 5-step process to 10K friends and 1K months in a year. Any questions about that before we talk about how what we just went over relates to the new Proof, Promise, Plan framework? Hey, thanks for all the love reacts. Leisha, we got a little thumbs down in there somewhere. Thank you. Any questions? If you're asking questions, it's telling me that you're thinking about this stuff and trying to grapple with it in your head, and that you're thinking about how you can apply it for yourself. If you don't know how this could apply to stuff that you write about, you could ask about that now. Would be happy to help. And if you think of something, put it in the chat, Tom.
Danny, I just have a question about, I'm not at 1,000 followers yet. And some of these strategies, you're framing them around getting from 1,000 to 10. Is there any issue with applying these if I'm not yet at 1,000, or should I focus on the previous strategies you've spoken about?
Yeah, great question. Where are you at now with your follower count?
I am only at, I think it's 130 or 140, 130.
Okay. All right.
So I'm still quite low. Yep.
So this is where it's helpful to have a Yasmin on the team. This is literally the same post, but for where you're at. And I'll drop it in the chat. That's the 5 steps in the Saints College classroom distilled into a nice, easy post. At 130, Tom, I'd say this is going to be your best bet if you want a concise nugget version of it. The main differences are the bio is slightly different because it's broader, giving you more wiggle room to figure out what you eventually want to write about. Instead of like, obviously, it's good to continue posting 3 times per day once you hit 1K. At 130, it's definitely going to be more engagement focused to try and grow to 500 and to 1K than posting. And that's why, as you're learning the ropes about how this stuff works, 1 long form a week is okay. But even then, it comes to step 3, engage like a madman. Follow the steps in Saints College in threads growth and just go to this up. Everything you need to do this really well is here.
Okay, so I think you've answered my questions. I know all the content and I've gone through it all.
Any follow-up questions there, Tom?
No, that's answered the question. Thanks, Lenny.
With that being said, who's keen to see how all of that relates to the new Proof Promise Plan framework? Keen, Tom's keen. Juliana's keen. Moose is keen. All right, cool. So probably got about 10 minutes left. At the end of this call, I'll be putting the price back up from 59 to 69. You secure this price at the lowest it will be for the indefinite future, and 7-day money back guarantee. Come and grab all the stuff. If you don't like it in 7 days, get a refund, no questions asked, including the year of content calendars. The new Proof Promise Plan framework has 3 Ps: proof, promise, and plan. I've thought about that framework in every long form post I've written since I learned about it maybe 8 to 10 months ago. Now, there are 2 new Ps in that framework. This is Hormozy's YouTube content framework for how he does hooks in YouTube. I remember listening to him and I thought, why wouldn't it apply to threads? Started applying it to threads, worked really well, and here we are. But yesterday, I was listening to a call in the school games Q&A. It's a weekly Q&A with Hormozy and just people who've got their own schools. And he actually just mentioned, as an aside, he's added 2 new Ps. Before I get to those, just in case you're not aware of what the existing ones are, the proof is you got to tell me, or I should tell you, why you should believe me. I'll relate this to the example in a moment. But this is the most important element for everyone, even considering the extra 2 new Ps we'll take a look at in a sec. Most people have this subconscious belief that you're talking shit online. So you need to, it's like that. Think about any sort of legal system. There's this idea of a presumption of innocence. It's like online, there's a presumption of guilt that you're full of shit. So with your proof, you need to override that to make it so clear that the content that you're about to share with people online is worth reading. Honestly, if there's one thing I want you to take away from everything in the class, it would be this. I spent an entire class talking about this a few months ago. Sit on that. So important. Promise is what I will be giving you in this post. Plan is how I'm going to give it to you. And here are the 2 new Ps. It is pain, picture. The pain, we all have our pain points, our problems. Unless you make those pain points clear, they're often not explicitly clear to us. Unless you tell your readers in your hook what problem they have and really kind of twist the knife, agitate it, they're probably not fully aware of it. If they are, it's telling them why they should care about this promise that you're about to deliver on. That's the first new P. And then the final new P is picture. You can go about this in 3 different ways. Shout out to Yaz because she created this one. I was initially just thinking literally a picture, but you can paint a mental picture with words. This is one option to like tick this box of picture. Another option is include a visual roadmap of the key steps that you're going to be, or key insights that you're going to be talking about in the post. By the way, these 5 Ps, you can't always do them in a short form post because it'll be too long. So really, this is just for long form posts. Coming back to this second step, include a visual roadmap of key steps in the post. If it's a storyteller, it might not be that necessary to include a visual roadmap. Certainly can, but really it applies to teacher posts. And then the third option for picture is just include an image of something that's relevant to the hook. For example, I posted this a couple of months ago, and this picture is a great example of that third option of picture. Just have a quick read of that, and I'm sure you'll see how it enhances the value of what I'm promising in this post. Here's your brain. Here's your brain on heroin. I'm guessing the purple is bad, right? And then here's your brain on porn. And it's basically showing you that porn can be as bad as heroin in some way. And obviously it's like a generalization, but it obviously kind of proves the point and enhances the effectiveness of the hook. And that's an instance of that third type of picture. So as we wrap up, 3, I'll show you what this looks like in practice with all these various tabs I've got going on right now. I'll read it out and then I'll deconstruct how it's ticking each of the 5 boxes, each of the 5 Ps in proof, promise, plan, pain, and picture. Have a think about how those boxes are being ticked as I'm reading this out. Most people suck at threads. Without a strategy, you feel salesy for promoting stuff. You spend 3 hours writing posts that flop, have no clue how to monetize threads. There's a better way. Just steal these 5 steps I used to hit 10K threads in 1K months, so you can too. Probably, hopefully, seeing how it relates to those 5 Ps. The first 5 sentences here is just pain, 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 pain. It's highlighting a pain point of most people's. It's highlighting a pain, and then it's agitating the pain in these 3 little bullet points. Then I talk about or kind of transition to a promise of a better way. Then I go into 5 steps. This is the plan. And here is the promise more directly. 10K threads and 1K months. So you can too. I'm promising 10K threads and 1K months. And my plan to give that to you is through these 5 steps. The proof is actually more subtle. I used these 5 steps to hit 10K threads and 1K months. So the proof is I've done this and I'm not just talking shit. Promise is 10K threads and 1K months. Plan 5 steps, as I've said. Pain is up here. And then finally, picture is here. And this is a roadmap of what is in the actual post. You've got the bio, you've got replay your greatest hits, you've got write 3 long form posts per week, you've got nail your hooks, and you've got join a friend group. And that is how you can implement the 5P hook framework. Any questions? So the 5 Ps do not always need to be in the same order. Yeah, that's right, Becca. Because it's really a checklist rather than okay, step 1, like first P this, second P this, third P this. Often it's really helpful to start with proof. That's just a general rule of thumb, and there are many exceptions. I start with pain, and it's worked really well. This post is still like relatively new. I'll probably have a good idea of how all of this has really worked in 24 hours because, yeah, it can just keep going for that long if people find it valuable. But to answer your question, any order works. Generally speaking, try to lead with proof. Any other questions? Tom, Juliana, do you find this useful, the 5P framework and just the actual example that we looked at in today's class?
Yeah, I'm actually lower on my 3N's followers. So it was nice to see what you gave the answer for Tom. That helps me as well.
Yes,
So
of course. Yeah, look, this is for those of you who want to go to the next level. If you don't have that direct accountability and you're like learning the content in Saints College, then that link that I shared from Yaz's post, and then obviously all the content in Saints College, like that's going to be your best bet.
Mhm.
All of this stuff that we went over in the class, we're doing this in full circle at the moment. Like some people have joined with 58 followers. We're just helping them grow faster by kind of skipping the steps that you don't need to take when you've got the hand holding almost, because it's like, here's just do this because I'm here and I can show you like the tweaks that you can make without having to go and do the other stuff. Because like, for instance, with the 3 long forms per week, main reason we say maybe don't do those when you're at around 100 followers in Saints College is that you don't really know what works with those long forms unless you get feedback for each one so you can improve quickly. It's probably going to be demoralizing to just not see the results you want from them, because they can take a lot of time. But like, someone like Frank, somewhere in here, I've lost him. Maybe I scrolled straight past it. Oh, here we go. Yep. Someone like Frank, like he's starting at 58 and he wants to be at 5,000 by roughly this time next year. We thought that's pretty doable. He's going to get accountability and feedback for long form posts weekly. So he can shortcut the part where nothing's working. Hopefully that makes sense, Juliana. It's more, those steps can help if you just want to get to that end result much faster. But if you're happy to take your time a bit more and get a feel for threads, this is just going to be the best bet.
Okay. No, yeah, sounds good. I definitely have to try it.
That's it. The point of what's in SCU phase 1 is you can do this stuff knowing that it actually does work if you're patient, because everyone who does this in Saints College, like they grow. Pretty
Mhm.
simple as that. So it's just, the point of this is to give you the peace of mind that the stuff will work for you if you do it, because it sucks to just kind of aimlessly try stuff not knowing if it's ever actually going to pay off.
Yeah.
Becca, Tom, Moose, Yaz, Leisha, final questions before we bring this class to a close? Anything at all? Excellent stuff. Thank you, Becca. Full transparency, because we're building in public here. We're just trying out new ways to offer full circle in a way that doesn't feel sleazy and salesy. So we're going to be trying new ways to do that with Saints College here. If you have any questions about it, DM me. Yaz, Leisha, happy to help. We believe in what we're offering. Believe we can help you get to your goal faster. And that's all there is to say about that. Until next time, any final thoughts before we bring this class to a close? All right. Thank you. Leisha's crying. Oh no. All right. Tom, Becca, Juliana, Moose, obviously, Yaz, and Leisha. Thank you so much for coming to this college class. Appreciate you a lot. I'll give you the link in the chat so you can go and grab all the stuff that we went over in the class. Honestly, if there's one kind of key action for you to take after this class, it is the key action to take is, remember that prompt in, I think, step 4, nail your hooks. Take those 5 screenshots, use the prompt, copy and paste a draft long form post you've got, see what those 5 different versions are, try it out. It's the easiest way that you can see a massive boost in how effective your content is. Like, there is no reason not to just try this. Leisha, got a hand raise?
Yeah, so I do apologize if you already answered this. When you mentioned the 5 Ps, I know you mentioned that it's going to be hard to put that in a short form. That's a lot of
Yes.
context. So what do you recommend when you do short form? Do you recommend sticking to the original 3P, proof, promise, plan, or switching it out?
Yep. Honestly, It's normally a matter of not trying to squeeze all 5 in to a short form, but trying to do just like at least 1 or 2. And oftentimes that will be proof. So for example, this is another, please just use this hook. I'll put it in the chat. Everyone who's already done day 1 in this content calendar has used this and were pretty mind blown. So I'll put this. That is a great hook for a short form listicle post. Let me know in the chat because I'd love to get your take on it. Out of proof, promise, plan, pain, picture, which P do you think this hook is ticking the box of? Proof. And whenever I use it, seems to work. Angela taught me what really works. 15 years. Each time they got over 100 likes. I think this was a template the editor used. Similar, but you get the idea. So editor DM'd me and she was like, I've never had a post get 28 likes. And it was because of this framework, but the hook. Like after 10 years of doing what nobody else wanted to do as a woman in corporate, these are my results. It's not the exact same, like taught me what really works, but it's here is my overwhelming body of proof. It's a decade. So to answer your question, Leisha, try and hit proof in the hook of your short form as much as possible. After that, anything goes. Promise would be good, but just think about the proof.
Got you. Thank you.